I'm sure you've either experienced or heard of the current travel chaos in the airline industry that is impacting every airline and airport in the world. Long lines, delays, and cancellations have been a common occurrence across the UK, Europe, Canada, and the US. For instance, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, one of the busiest airports in all of Europe, had an on-time performance for outbound flights below 50% in late June. The average wait to get through security was 3 hours in the middle of June. Also, the on-time performance for outbound flights was 23 to 48%. On-time performance measures whether a flight occurs within 15 minutes of its scheduled arrival or departure. American Airlines recently told employees that it is pausing ticket sales on flights that depart Amsterdam from July 7 to July 31st at the airport's request. Likewise, London Heathrow, UK's busiest airport, had to scrap 10% of British Airways flights to reduce the constant pressure on its operations, not to mention the piles of luggage which people have had to wait days to retrieve. In the US, about 20% of flights from US carriers have been delayed by an average of 48 minutes. That's 12% up from flights during the same stretch last year and 16% from 2019. The graph below shows how the number of passengers through US security checkpoints is returning back towards pre-pandemic levels. Just recently, on the 4th of July weekend, we saw many cancellations and delays across the country. It was estimated that there were over 12,000 delays. So why exactly are we seeing so many delays? I mean, it is estimated that airlines have cancelled flights 4 times more than they did in 2019. US airlines have been operating somewhere between 21,000 and 25,000 flights a day in the recent months. So far in 2022, an average of 1 out of 5 flights a day arrive behind schedule. That's a total of more than 820,000 delayed flights according to FlightAware. And more than 116 flights have been cancelled. One of the reasons for such mayhem is the sheer number of passengers. Currently, passenger volumes nationwide for this month are 87.7% of 2019 volumes. According to TSA spokesperson Laurie Dankers, the average number of people screened per day is 2.24 million compared to 2.56 million in June 2019. So if we're getting less people through airports than in 2019, then why are we seeing so many cancellations and delays? The pace at which passengers have returned to the skies since the springtime has caught airlines a little bit by surprise, and airports too. They simply don't have the staff right now that we would need for a full scheduled summer. Alexandra Irving, European transport analyst at AB Bernstein, told CNBC.
Where the big problems are, you talk about the UK, you talk about Europe, you talk about the US, I basically point to 2 things. One is congested airports, so Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Paris, the big London airports. And the other one for the UK in particular is just a very tight labour market post-Brexit. Yeah, so I mean, one of the best data points we had was EasyJet, who came out last week. They said they were trimming their summer schedule from 97% of pre-pandemic capacity to about 90%, and with a smaller adjustment in the spring quarter that's finishing in a couple of days' time.
In Europe, surprisingly, Turkish Airlines are the ones who have seen the most delays and cancellations. Lufthansa, the major airline carrier of Germany, cut its workforce to 100,000 people after the COVID pandemic. This left the company severely short of cabin crew, ground staff, and pilots. This summer we need to tough it out together, Lufthansa CEO told staff in a memo after the airline revealed that it was extending cancellations for July and August from 900 flights to over 3,000, equating to around 4% of its capacity during the summer peak. Part of the chaos on the industry now comes from the pandemic fallout. Faced with the prospect of being wiped out by global groundings, airlines took extreme measures to keep their businesses together, said the CEO of Lufthansa. Did we drive some savings too hard? No doubt. A lack of ground handling workers is among the biggest causes of delays and cancellations. German ground staff typically make about €20,000 per year when starting, a sum that's easily matched in jobs that are less tough and more regular hours. Germany's unemployment rate is close to its lowest level since 1990, meaning ground handling companies face fierce competition for staff from almost all sectors of the economy. This summer has seen the airline industry tested to the brink of its limits. Long airport security lines, delays, and cancellations have made airline travel an absolute nightmare.